Now, this next article is not necessarily messed up, but with that being said, I think every dude here has experienced a form of this in some way or another. Maybe some ladies too, although I don't think it's anywhere near as common. And the wording of this article really gives that away. And why? Because it's from Vice, of course. Floodlighting is the new toxic dating trend. Now, you might be wondering what the fuck that is. Oversharing, trauma dumping, floodlighting. It's all the same, at least to me. But apparently, some of these behaviors may be driven by harmful intentions. So what do we got here? This is a new example, which is gaining traction online. It says, according to Brene Brown, author of The Power of Vulnerability, Teachings of Authenticity, Connections, and Courage, floodlighting occurs when we share too much information about ourselves and our lives in an attempt to protect ourselves from real vulnerability. It seems kind of counterproductive in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Oversharing, not vulnerability, she said. I call it floodlighting. It's interesting. So it's about using vulnerability as a high-intensity spotlight. It involves sharing a lot of personal details all at once to test the waters, speed up intimacy, or see if the other person can handle these parts of you. This is kind of like the sadistic, twisted stepsister of love bombing.
Yeah.
And this has happened to me. And I completely had forgotten about it until I read this.
I just call it water spigot speak.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, and they're really fast. I had a boyfriend. I did. My sister.
Oh,
she's
yeah,
such
yeah.
a whore. And I'm just like, oh my God.
They dump everything on you. All the shit that, of course, every man before you was just the worst. Like, all of their ex-boyfriends are toxic. They're not the problem. It's the men, right? And then from that point on, whether it's spoken or unspoken, you are on the hook to make good all of that shit that she just dumped in your lap. That's what she's hoping for. Now, in my, I know it's an empty screen. I took it down. But this was the article here. Good old Vice. What it reminded me of, actually, was when I had just gotten together with my horse chick. So, I mean, it's just an article. I'm reading it as it says it's done, so no big deal. My horse chick, when we had just started dating, all right, she had a diary or a journal, right? And we'd be sitting there, and I'm in college at the time, so I'm working on shit, whatever. And then she's writing in her journal. Like, she's not attempting to hide this from me in any way, shape, or form. And then eventually she hands it over to me. She's like, I really feel like you should read this.
Oh my God.
And it's all about like the feelings that she has for me. Oh, I'm falling for him. He's so great. He's so wonderful. Blah, 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 blah. Like, and then all of this shit that I didn't need to know about her underneath, like, he makes me feel so good because, like, it's not this, it's not that, it's not all this other stuff. I'm like, okay.
I don't need to know this.
Now, when you're young and dumb and full of stuff that rhymes with dumb, you're like, oh, yeah. It's like when the chick who friend zone you calls you marriage material. Like, I totally just need to be with a guy like you. Not you, but a guy just like you. They want to keep you on the hook. Very similar.
It's called wallet farming.
Yeah, wallet farming is a very real phenomenon, of course.
Going in the book.
So there's a little more description here. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. If this has happened to you, I'm interested. Feel free to send us your stories.
Fuck yeah. We'll take any story, man.
Absolutely. According to Alderson, some signs of floodlighting include quick and early disclosure of detailed personal information, an unbalanced exchange of said information, a fast and intense emotional connection. Anybody moved in with somebody they barely knew? And a close anal wysis of reactions to shared information. I know how to pronounce that word. I just think it's funny to call it anal wysis. For example, say you meet someone from a dating app and grab drinks a few days after connecting, and on the date you begin to talk about your childhood, sharing details about your parents' divorce and other traumas. You then drain on about how this impacts you today. E.g. makes you doubt love and loyalty, causes insecurities in dating. All the while, you're closely reading the other person's reactions to determine whether or not they can handle you. Now, this is what I was talking about before with the lie by structure in this article. Reading the other person's reactions. Okay, now, dudes out there, would you ever dump all of your stuff that truly hurts you on the doorstep of a woman that you barely know and expect not to be judged harshly for it?
Yeah, or they just leave.
Heaven forbid you cry.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, men don't do this.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of patience. Like I've had women do this.
I
and I'll
have
be
too.
like, yeah.
Men don't do
Sure.
this. Women do this.
Yeah.
And because they do it, they assume men do it too. Just like they assume that they're marketing themselves to you as relationship material by talking about how much money they make, that they pay their own bills, that they have a job and a car and all this stuff. We don't fucking care.
Congratulations on winning the adulting game.
Yeah. There was another thing, like the psychological projection, like they think we do it because they do it, right? Once upon a time, I met this redhead at a birthday party. His name was Emily. She was gorgeous.
I think I've heard this before.
And I thought we hit it off. You haven't actually.
Okay.
And we
how many
exchanged
redheads
numbers.
do you know?
A few.
You're a dick. All right.
A bit of a ginger ninja in that way.
Mm.
But we exchanged numbers, talked regularly, made a date. Okay. On the day of the date, my grandma had an issues, and at that point in time, she had some problems. And at that point in time, was very, very shortly after my grandfather had passed away. So I was essentially her medical transportation.
Yeah.
I was taking her to all of her appointments, making sure that she was okay. Now, because of that, I was on the hook for anything that happened. If something goes wrong and she needs to go to the hospital and get blood work done or something like that, I'm taking her. So I had this date scheduled with this chick, and I just had to let her know. I was like, hey, just want to let you know, with my grandma, the hospital, something's going wrong. She needs a full blood panel and whatnot. They're taking her up to, I just want to let you know, like, I need to reschedule. And instead of just saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear about your grandma, you are sharing so much personal. Oh my gosh, I don't need to know this about you. Why would you overshare this kind of information? Like, wow. Bullet dodged. Thanks. Yeah, we're not going to reschedule.
I'm out.
Take it easy then. Okay. I'm literally just trying to let you know that, hey, I got to reschedule, and it's not because I'm a dick. I have a legit reason. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's what, I don't know, civilized people do.
Whatever happened to her?
Oh, I don't know. Don't really care either.
Just for shits and giggles.
She wasn't that hot. I'm not going to check up on her.
No. I always I'll look in on people I used to date, and they're just train wrecks.
Oh, isn't that usually how it goes?
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, we never did that stream. We were talking about doing like a checking in on the train wreck thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dudes who have been cheated on or just given the business, what have you. You checking in with with this person years later. Maybe they just add you on social media or something. Doesn't necessarily have to be a slingback, but you find out they just train wrecked their lives. I want to hear about that shit. That'd be a fun show.
My buddy John, I'm not going to use his last name. He might be watching this show. He was married to a woman saying her name was Susan. And, she was a fucking crazy bitch. And
no,
I know I don't get it, but that's his business. So I move out to Phoenix. I'm working with him as an investment banker, and I am basically lived in his apartment with him and her for like 2 months until I got my own place. So I heard all of like the nattering. And he just got tongue lashed to death by her like every fucking day.
Don't you love that?
So one day we're at work, and I call him on the line, the intercom line. I'm like, "Hey, John." He's like, well, "What's going on?" Yeah. He just starts fucking hysterically laughing, just laughing his balls off. They got divorced, and I looked her up like a couple years ago, and she is an Oompa Loompa now.
Oh no!
Oh my God, she's so fat. Like her whole body is just a stuffed sausage.
Stuffed sausage.
Her fingers. I mean, she's just nasty. She's got like jowls and a turkey neck gullet. Probably got, she's probably got the front butt where the clitoris grows all the way up to your belly button, and you have an outie and an innie clitoris. That's how nasty. And I was just like, Karma's a bitch. Move along.
It's a Clitorosaurus Rex.
Yes.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporters Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.